Zamfara State Government commences 6 billion empowerment program for women and youth. Zamfara Emir urged federal government to reconsider the banning of illegal mining. National Assembly begins consultation with executive over petroleum industry bill. On business, World Bank to lower global growth forecast over coronavirus outbreak. On sports, Aisha Buhari opens Abuja 2020 Para-Powerlifting World Cup. And on the international scene, U.S. Senate acquits President Trump on false charge of abuse of power. Welcome to Standard Voice Television News. I am Musa Joy Onyiyoza. Now the news in full. The Zamfara State Government has commenced the disbursement of 6 billion naira empowerment program for women and youth in the state. This was disclosed by the Secretary to the State Government, Alhaji Bala Bello Maru, on Wednesday in Gusau, while receiving Life Steps material for skill acquisition centers donated by the Reaching and Empowering Adolescents to make informed choices for health project of the Save the Children International. The SSG said the Governor Bello Matawale-led administration initiated the Women Empowerment Program under the Office of the First Lady, while the Zamfara Social Intervention Program coordinates the Youth Empowerment Program. He said under the Women Empowerment Program, over 134,000 women will benefit in the next 4 years, while 314,600 youth will also benefit within the same period. He said each of the beneficiaries under Women Empowerment Program will be supported with 20,000 naira monthly, and under the SIP program, a total of 6,600 beneficiaries will be receiving 10,000 naira monthly. The Secretary to the government said the gesture was aimed at supporting unemployed youth, women, and vulnerable individuals to tackle poverty and unemployment in the state. The SSG thanks Save the Children for the donation of the skills acquisition materials, which he said would go a long way in improving the skills of the youth in the state. In her remarks, the country director, Save the Children International, Mrs. Deirdre Koch, applauded the Zamfara State government for giving priority to education allocation in the 2020 budget. Save the Children is very appreciative of the Zamfara State governor's passion for development, particularly by focusing on education, health, agriculture, and social welfare. Ms. Koch added that the state government's commitment towards enrolling out of school children will contribute significantly to the future development of the state. She hoped that a memorandum of understanding would be signed with the State Ministry of Women Affairs and Child Welfare to further entrench their collaboration and sustainability of the intervention. The Emir of Anka and Chairman Council of Chiefs in Zamfara State, Alhaji Attahiru Ahmad, has advised the federal government to reconsider its decision to ban illegal mining in the northwestern state. The monarch gave the advice on Tuesday while receiving the commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Zamfara State, Alhaji Aliu and Alhaji Garuba, and officials of the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development who paid him a courtesy visit. The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, reported that the NSCDC officials, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, were in Anka to meet with local miners. He advised that instead of a total ban, government should sensitize illegal miners and also give them close monitoring to ensure they comply with the rules and regulations of the trade. Alhaji Attahiru Ahmed noted that though illegal mining has negative implications, especially on health, environment, ecology, and security, government should also be considerate. He lamented that most of the mining companies in the state were not helping their host communities. The emir assured his visitors of total support and cooperation from the emirate and traditional rulers toward reviving and modernizing the mining sector. Earlier, Alhaji Garba has said that the sensitization was aimed at ensuring that mining activities were done in line with the rules and regulations guiding the activity. He said that the NLCDC had a mandate of providing security for licensed mining companies and monitoring the activities of illegal mining in the state. In his remarks, the Plan Officer of the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, Mr. Abunna Samuel, said that about 80% of mining activities in Nigeria was carried out by artisan miners, which were generally illegal. He said that the federal government wants to make sure that all artisan miners acquired licenses so that they will pay revenue to the government. News Agency of Nigeria reports that illegal mining activities have continued to persist in Zamfara State in spite of the ban on the crude trade. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, on Wednesday disclosed that the National Assembly has started consultation with the executive arm of government on a new version of the Petroleum Industry Bill to be introduced in the 9th National Assembly. Alhaji Lawal made a disclosure during a meeting with representatives of the International Monetary Fund who paid a visit to his office at the National Assembly, Abuja. Representatives on the IMF delegation are Amine Mati, Senior Resident Representative Mission Chief for Nigeria, Jasmine Rahman, Zainab Manga, Narub Ibrahim, Osana Adonye, and Harrison Okafor. According to Lawan, the 9th Assembly, in its determination to see to the eventual passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill, which defied passage into law since 2007, devised a strategy which deplores constant interaction and collaboration between the executive and legislative arms of government. He added that the interface between both arms would beget a new PIB to be drafted from scratch and which would be passed by the National Assembly and assented to by the President before the end of the year. He added that the economy will get a boost when the National Assembly passes the Petroleum Industry Bill before the end of the year and is signed into law. Speaking on the relationship between the international body and Nigeria, the Senate President said IMF has been a friend of Nigeria for a long time. Mr. Lawal also appealed to the International Monetary Fund to support committees of the National Assembly in the area of capacity building for legislators. He noted that such support to relevant finance committees will assist in the discharge of oversight functions and guarantee prudence and efficiency on the part of ministries, departments, and agencies of the government. The Senate President added that members of the Finance Committee should be able to have more capacities to discharge their responsibilities, and also when they engage Ministry of Finance or the financial institutions, they should be able to have very solid platforms to exercise oversight critically to ensuring there is prudence and efficiency. Majority Leader of the Kano State House of Assembly, Alhaji Labaran Abdul Madari, has been impeached. He was impeached on Wednesday and immediately replaced with his deputy Alhaji Kabir Hassan Dashi. The removal followed a motion of urgent public importance presented by a member of the All Progressives Congress, APC, representing Bonkure constituency, Alhaji Mohammed Oba Gurujia. The decision to remove the majority leader followed the acceptance of 23 out of the 28 APC members in the chamber of 40 representatives. The motion was immediately seconded by another APC member representing Bagwai Shanonu, Alhaji Ali Ibrahim Shanonu. The eventual removal of the majority leader followed the adoption of the motion in which the legislators unanimously adopted and called on the majority leader to step aside. The National Identity Management Commission said 3 months jail term awaits anybody who refuses to get National Identity Number, NIN. Kano State Coordinator Mohammed Sanusi Awalu disclosed this while delivering a lecture at Saadatu Rimi College of Education, Kano State. He said the agency will start taking action on anybody who refuses to get registered. He explained that part of the action to be taken against anybody who refuses to get registered include 3 months imprisonment or a fine of 100,000 naira. In accordance with the provisions of Section 27, subsection 1 of the Commission Act, the use of national identity number should be mandatory. In exercising its power of enforcement and compliance, the Commission has the power to demand for evidence of compliance from persons, to caution a non-compliant person or sanction a non-compliant person. It also has the power to institute criminal proceedings against a non-compliant person through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Let me quickly take you to our business desk for the business update.
Welcome to Business Desk. As deadly disease, coronavirus is spreading all over the world from China. World Bank President David Malpass has disclosed that the multilateral lender will slow down its global growth forecast. The global growth forecast, according to Malpass, will be revised downward amid fears that the epidemic will harm global supply chains. It is, however, pertinent to note that the World Bank has forecasted a rebound in global growth this year, 2020, following the ease of trade tensions between the United States, US, and China that had contributed to the decline in 2019. Amid fears and tension, the World Bank president warned that the coronavirus that is responsible for the shutting down of many businesses and borders poses a threat to the prediction. There will be a lowering of forecasts for at least the first of 2020, in part due of China, in part due of supply chains. Mr. Malpass was quoted as saying a lot of Chinese goods come out to the rest of the world in the belly of aircraft that are carrying passengers. The World Bank president added, as airlines worldwide have suspended flights to and from China and some of its neighbors have shut their borders, you need to adjust the supply chains in order to get the goods out to make the product that the whole world economy is operating on. Prior to the outbreak of the disease in China, the World Bank Economic Outlook has predicted that the world economy will grow to 2.5% in 2020 from 2.4% it was last year. And that's all we have on Business Desk today. Back to Musa Joy.
And on sports, Sufyan Abubakar has more detail.
Welcome to Standard Voice Television Sports Room. My name is Svtv Abubakar, and as usual, I bring the sports updates. The First Lady of Nigeria, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, has drawn attention to the plight of retired para-power lifters and other athletes in Nigeria, many of whom retired into hardship after having served their country superlatively. She made this call during the opening ceremony of the Abuja 2020 Para-Power Lifting World Cup on Tuesday, 4th February 2020 at the International Conference Center. Speaking on her involvement, the First Lady said her interest in the well-being of the underprivileged led to establishing the Aisha Buhari Foundation and Future Assured, and her acceptance to be Grand Patron of this event. She congratulated the organizers of the event and called on Nigerians to support Team Nigeria, otherwise known as the Unstoppables. She also welcomed teams from other countries and encouraged them to enjoy their stay in Nigeria. The Deputy Governor of Enugu State, Honorable Cecilia Azilio, said she had always been a sports enthusiast and that is why she accepted to be the Grand Matron of the Para Powerlifting team and felt a sense of duty to organize fundraising for the event, which turned out successful. She called on the organizers to ensure successful conduct of the event. Honorable Minister of Sport, Mr. Sunday Dari, said the Para Powerlifting World Cup is significant to Nigeria as it provided the opportunity to implement several related events including a referee training, coaches training, leaders course and anti-doping seminar. He wished the athletes success in the competition. He thanked the First Lady for the show of support to the competition and extraordinary passion for sports in general. Honorable Minister of State FCT, who was represented by the Ministry's Permanent Secretary, Mr. Chijayeka Oha, reiterated the commitment of the FCT administration towards the successful hosting of the World Cup as it provides an opportunity to showcase the tourism potential of the country. And that's all we have on sports today. My name is Svtv Bakar. Once again, have a nice day.
And on the international scene, the U.S. Senate voted 52 to 48 to acquit President Donald Trump on the first article of impeachment, the charge of abuse of power, before immediately moving on to vote on the second article, obstruction of Congress. While Republican Senator Mitt Romney voted with the opposition Democrat who brought the charges against President Trump, a supermajority, 2/3 of the 100-member Senate is needed to remove a president from office. President Trump was impeached in December in the House of Representatives. He was charged with abusing his office to pressure Ukraine into announcing an investigation of his political rival ahead of elections this year, and then obstructing Congress' investigation. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Zamfara State Government commences 6 billion naira empowerment program for women and youth. Zamfara Emir urged federal government to reconsider the banning of illegal mining. National Assembly begins consultation with executive over petroleum industry bill. On business, World Bank to lower global growth forecast over coronavirus outbreak. On sports, Aisha Buhari opens Abuja 2020 Para Powerlifting World Cup. And on the international scene, U.S. Senate acquit President Trump on first charge of abuse of power. Thanks for watching. I still remain Musa Joy Unioza. Stay tuned.